All right, my business friend, you do not need anyone's permission to take Fridays off this summer. You don't need to justify why you're closed on Wednesdays. You don't need to apologize for not responding to an email within some arbitrary amount of time. What you do need is a clear plan, the right language to share it, and the steadiness to hold it when someone pushes back. I'm talking about creating a summer schedule, and today we are building it in rules of three. Let's go. Welcome back to Small Business Simplified. I'm Karin Velez, your business big sister, and we are keeping it practical around here and built for real life, and that includes what your summer looks like. Last week, we built the Step Away Stack, your 4-layer system that lets you disappear for a week without your business falling apart. If you missed it, go back and listen because that episode is the foundation for what we're doing today. Today, we are building the next layer up, a permanent rhythm change for the summer. Most solopreneurs and microbusiness owners can't take the entire summer off. We have to keep working, which is kind of unfortunate. But we can absolutely work differently between now and Labor Day, and we can do it without apologizing or losing clients and without that low-grade guilt that follows us around every time that we close the laptop before 5. And I know you know what I mean. Let's get into it. Listen, much of corporate America has a summer hours or summer Fridays policy. The reason solopreneurs feel weird about it is because we have absorbed this idea that visibility equals value. Like if we're not online or we are not client facing 100% of the time, then we must not be serious about our business. If we're not hustling, we're not really working. And that belief is costing us way more than we realize. Before we get into the how to sort of set summer hours, let's spend a few minutes on the why. Because if you don't believe that summer hours are legitimate, then the system we build today is not going to stick for you. So this is my first set of threes. There are 3 real reasons that summer hours work for small business owners, and all 3 are backed by data. The first reason is energy. Okay, working through summer at the same pace that you work in November can actually be a sign of poor energy management. Heat affects cognitive performance. School schedules or a change in school schedules is going to disrupt your routines. Your family might be around in different ways. Trying to ignore all of that and just pushing your way through can actually make you even less productive. Energy is not unlimited. Building in a lighter season of work is how you stay capable the entire rest of the year. The second reason is your market. Take a look around. Your clients are probably on lighter schedules too. They're taking vacations, they're juggling kids out of school, they're taking long weekends, all of the things that we are probably doing, right? Engagement on email and maybe social media channels is likely measurably lower. In fact, it drops in summer for most industries. So if you're honest about what's happening in your business in the summer months, you'll likely realize that you're putting more in than you're getting back. The market is telling you that this is a slower season, and you are allowed to listen to that. Now, obviously, this isn't true for every business. For some of us, summer is the main season because our businesses are seasonal. And if that's you, then the schedule and the boundaries we're talking about today might be what you do around the winter holidays. As always, adjust according to your business and your circumstances. The third reason is sustainability. Solopreneur burnout is real, okay? And it shows up oftentimes as resentment toward your own clients or lower quality work or just making decisions from a real place of just being depleted. Summer hours are a deliberate change that protects the quality of the work the rest of the year. So the version of you that comes back from a summer of just intentional, lighter scheduling is a better business owner than the version that just kind of ground through 3 months of a forced full schedule when you didn't want it to be. And isn't the freedom to work around our lives and our energy and our interests part of the reason why we went into business for ourselves to begin with? Okay, so let's design this, right? Setting summer hours is not as simple as just deciding to take Fridays off, although that is a great place to eventually land. This is the second set of threes. 3 specific decisions and writing them down so they stick. And decision number 1 is the container, okay? Which days are you working and which hours? Are you completely off on Fridays? Are you just working half days on Fridays? Are you maybe working Tuesday through Friday and you're taking Mondays off? Maybe you're cutting just your overall hours by 20%, okay? Pick something. Saying, I'm just taking it easier this summer is not defining this, okay? I work Monday through Thursday, 9 to 4 from June 9th through August 29th. That is a container, okay? You need the second version of this. Just like everything else in every system I talk about, we need to be specific and we need to be consistent. Decision number 2 is the exceptions to decision number 1. What counts as being urgent enough to break that container? And this needs to be defined by you before you announce anything, because if you don't define it, then every email will feel urgent. For most solopreneurs, the realistic list on this is pretty short. It might be an active client who is in the middle of a deadline that cannot move, a payment that has failed that is actually affecting your current bottom line, or a true emergency from someone in your inner circle. That's usually it. Most of what feels urgent usually is not and can wait until your next business day. Your third decision is the duration. When does this start and when does it end? An open-ended, summer schedule tends to either drift or it just gets abandoned. So give a clear start date and a clear end date. A lot of small businesses do really well with like a Memorial Day to Labor Day window, or June 1st through August 31st, or whatever it is, whatever works best for you for the rest of your life, because this is kind of the idea behind this, right? So pick one and write it on the calendar. Now, let me give you another set of threes, and that would be 3 models that would work. Okay, pick the one that fits your business, build a hybrid, whatever, it's your business, do what you want. The first model is that half-day Fridays. Okay, you work a normal Monday through Thursday, and then you close at noon on Friday. The afternoon is yours to do with what you will. This is probably the easiest entry point because you're not removing a full workday, you're just shortening one. And a lot of the time, this kind of matches a lot of what is going on in other businesses during the same time frame. Clients adjust to this pretty quickly because most of them have experienced some sort of summer Fridays somewhere themselves, or they're just super happy for you that you get to take some time off. And as a side note, if you have a client that is unreasonably happy about this, that might be a sign to see if that client is still a good fit for your business. The second model would be just a 4-day work week. Okay, so you work Monday through Thursday and you take Fridays completely off, or you work Tuesday through Friday and you take Mondays completely off. This is a little bit more aggressive, but it is also the model with the most research behind it. Multiple studies on 4-day work weeks have shown comparable or even better output with those reduced hours, particularly in knowledge-based work. Now, the trade-off is that your 4 working days have to be more focused, which is honestly a feature and not a bug. When you know that you have a tighter container to work within, you tend to get real efficient real fast. The third model is the compressed schedule. So you work the same number of days, but maybe you shift the hours earlier and shorten the day. So maybe instead of working, 8 to 5, you start at 7, but then you wrap up by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And so you trade that late afternoon for either family time or just getting some rest. This works particularly well if you have kids home for the summer, or if the heat is part of the reason why your afternoons just kind of tend to feel a little rough. Whichever model you pick, write it down. Pick your specific days, your specific hours, and a specific start and end date. That is your container. Now, how do you actually tell people this is what you're doing? And here we have our final set of threes. You're going to communicate your summer hours to 3 audiences, and each one needs slightly different language. The good news is that none of these messages are long. The bad news is that the wrong tone, like being apologetic or hedging or over-explaining, can actually undermine the entire system before you even get it going. So we want to get this right from the start. The first script or the first heads up is going to go to your active clients. Anyone that you have current ongoing work with should hear this directly from you ahead of time in a personal email, usually about 2 to 3 weeks before your schedule changes. You don't want them to be blindsided by this at the last minute, okay? So just something like sending them an email that says, hey, Vanessa, quick heads up from, June 1st through August 31st, I'm running on a lighter schedule for the summer, Monday through Thursday, Fridays off. For our project, here's what that means. And then tell them, how the specific impact on their work is gonna happen. So, maybe deliverables will be landing on Tuesday instead of Fridays, and you move the weekly check-in to Wednesdays, okay? Whatever it is for that client and their specific work. And then tell them, if something genuinely time critical comes up, you can, and then tell them what to do. Give them the specifics for anything that they deem to be an emergency, okay? Whether it's a specific inbox or a certain, way to reach you, whether it's a text or whatever, go back to last week's episode. We set that up ahead of time, okay? And then just tell them, otherwise, anything that hits my inbox after Thursday will be answered Monday morning. Let me know if you have any questions. Notice what's not in there. There is no apology for what you're doing. There is no over-explaining what you're doing. There is a specific change, a specific impact, and a specific protocol for actual emergencies. That's it, okay? The second sort of heads up would be an autoresponder that you put in place for new potential clients. So this could go on your contact form, your email, anywhere new people might reach out. Just something as simple as, thanks for reaching out. I'll respond within 2 business days. Quick note, through Labor Day, I'm on a Monday through Thursday schedule, so messages received after Thursday afternoon will get a response on Monday. If you'd like to schedule a call, you can book directly here and then give them the link. You're warm, you're clear, you're professional. It signals that you have systems in place and boundaries around your work, which is a great thing for incoming clients to understand ahead of time. And then the third heads up would just be your sort of public notice, right? This is the one-time post to your general audience, your email list, your social channels, your website, on your contact page, whatever, right? One short, confident message. Hi, friends. Quick housekeeping note for the summer. I'm running a lighter schedule, Monday through Thursday, Fridays off, June through Labor Day. Same great work, just a slightly slower rhythm to match the season. If you need to reach me, the best way is still, and then however they're supposed to reach you, see you on the working days. The energy that you bring to each one of these teaches everyone how to respond. Now, I want to spend a few minutes on holding the line, keeping that boundary, because this is the part where most summer schedules fall apart the very first time we try to implement them. The first time that someone pushes back, the panic kicks in, right? The first time you see a client say they have a problem and they're sending you a message that says, are you available on Friday? Your fingers kind of hover over the keyboard and you're ready to say, yes, of course, no problem. No. This is where you have to choose differently, okay? We are not working from a place of scarcity, thinking that if we don't bend over backwards for all the people all the time, our business will somehow fail. Absolutely not, okay? In fact, it's more likely to burn us out and cause the business to fail if we take on all the things all the time. That's the whole reason that we're setting these summer hours, right? So we're going to politely but firmly hold our ground. You simply respond with, I want to make sure I do good work for you, and my Monday through Thursday rhythm is what's making that possible right now. I have time blocked out on Monday morning to get to your message first thing. If something is truly time critical, here's what I can do. And then you give them the alternative, if you even want to include that, okay? This doesn't apologize. It doesn't justify. It reasserts the boundary and offers a real path forward. Most of that pushback is going to dissolve at that point because the person was likely just testing the rule and not actually in crisis, okay? And remember your list of exceptions from the beginning. implement that here, okay? A true crisis for a client deadline that can't be moved might be on your list of exceptions, or a payment that has failed and is costing you money, or some sort of an emergency with your inner circle, okay? That's it. I'm anxious that this person might be annoyed. That's not an exception. Or feeling guilty for taking time off. That is not an exception. Those are feelings, and feelings will try to renegotiate that container every single week. So don't let them, okay? And when you do break your own rule, because you will at least once, do not spiral and just continue down the rabbit hole, okay? Notice it, see what happened, reset for the next week. If that container holds for 80% of the time throughout the summer, that is enough to change everything about how your summer feels, okay? Summer hours are not a vacation. They are a rhythm change that protects your year-round capacity. And remember our rules of 3, okay? 3 reasons why they work: energy, market alignment, and sustainability. 3 decisions to make: the container, which is those days and hours, the exceptions, which we will keep to a very short list, and the duration, a start date and an end date. The 3 models that usually work: half-day Fridays, the 4-day week, or a compressed schedule, or any hybrid of those 3. And your 3 scripts: the heads-up email to your active clients, the autoresponder for your new potential clients, and the public notice to your general audience. And remember, when someone pushes back, because someone will, hold the line with a protocol, not an apology. Okay? So take some time this week to set this up. Decide on your container. Decide your exceptions. Write your 3 messages, and then schedule them. That's it. By the end of the hour that it takes to do this, your summer is structurally different than it would have been. Setting summer hours is not laziness, and it is not entitlement. It is one of the most basic acts of running your own business, which is to say, deciding when and how you work. You open this business in part for that freedom. Using it is not a luxury. It's actually the whole point. Next week, we're going to talk about something even more uncomfortable than setting summer hours: actually resting. We'll talk about why rest is a strategic input, not a reward, and what it looks like to build genuine recovery into your business model. And if you want a place to do this work alongside other solopreneurs, supporting each other in building sustainable businesses that don't burn us out, come join me in the Growth Table Small Business Collective. It is a private community off social media with monthly workshops, virtual coffees, mentoring, and more. You can find us at growthtablesbc.com, and I will leave the link in the show notes. You've got this, and I am cheering you on through your summer schedule, and I will see you next Wednesday.